then I guess from there you went to the AWF?
Yeah, the AWF, they called me. And at that time, Tito Santana and Sergeant Slaughter were the bookers.
Right.
Really got along well with them. And the guy, Paul Alperstein, who was from Chicago, was, financing it all at the time, wanted to use me. So he had a great bunch of guys and a great concept. I just think that the reason that didn't take off is because he tried to be like Vince McMahon overnight.
Right.
Instead of, and he was approached by Sarge and also by Tito that maybe you should concentrate in the Florida territory and work out all the problems and do that and build it up as a territory and do all the things that you would do in a territory, such as the t-shirt sales and the internet and the promotions and, maybe the pay-per-view or whatever, but, do everything instead of trying to go national. A few $1 million national is nothing, but in one territory. And then when he got that territory going, he should have expanded to another and another and did it that way. And it was a shame. They had a lot of good guys. And
then in 96 and 97, you worked for FWF, which had Rock and Roll Express, Terry Gordy, Valentine, Coco Beware.
Yeah, that was freestyle wrestling. And that was a friend of mine who was a wealthy guy in Dallas and gave me an office right next to the ballpark, Texas Rangers,
right,
overlooking Six Flags in the ballpark. It was incredible. And he was an engineer and he just loved wrestling and he wanted to make these tapes, which I need to talk to you about, by the way, because they're unedited.
Okay.
Even now, never before seen. We got to the stage, we had Missy Hyatt in there doing a lot of the talking. We had the Rock and Roll Express, Terry Gordy, Greg Valentine, Coco Beware, you name it. The people that weren't on Rock and Roll Express, the people that weren't on contract, we had them. And we recorded all of this. We did a lot of on-location stuff too. And right at the crucial time where we were going to go and edit, his wife sued him for $500,000 and he had to hightail it to LA and he had to freeze the tapes because he was using some of the money from his business to use it. So his wife froze everything.
Wow.
Still on hold.
From there, in 1998, you wound up back in WCW.
Yeah, WCW. I phoned Terry Taylor and I said, is there anything going on over there that that would be good for me? And he said, come on down. And even though, everybody knows how you can work, do a little show for Bischoff and see what they say. And I did, and Bischoff offered me a job. It wasn't the job I wanted, but at the time, due to divorces and things like that, I needed the money, so I took it.
What was Eric Bischoff like when you first met him?
Offstandish. He's got his few guys that he would talk to, probably 5 or 6 guys, and everybody else was like, phew. But he was always cordial to me. Once again, he was never nasty to me at all. So I admired him pretty much at that time. I mean, he had a lot of things on his shoulders. He had a lot of responsibility, and he was doing a good job at that time.
Did it frustrate you seeing guys like less talented going over on you and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I wasn't on contract and I wasn't getting the money, every 2 weeks, I definitely wouldn't have done it. But like I say, I needed the money, and it was easy money, but it was just a little embarrassing. And at the same time, I'm looking at the whole picture, not just my point of view, and I'm going, why don't you use these guys? And you got so much talent here, and if you want to put these guys over down here, let the talent mean something, and then put them over. I didn't understand why they didn't do that.
How were you treated in WCW?
I was treated good in one way, but in the working way, I know that I can do 500 times better than they ever used me. And it's like, hey, maybe you should give me a chance. Let me show you what I can do. And then if you don't like it, that's okay. But I don't know. I guess there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians in WCW.
I was going to ask you, can you talk a little bit about the politics in WCW?
Yeah, it's cliques. You know, you've got your cliques, and if you're not in one of the cliques, then you know you're not in.
Right.
And talent and ability has a lot to do with it. But if you're in a clique and you have such a strong television, you know, I mean, we're talking a lot stronger now than back in the world class days. If they want my 5-6-year-old daughter to get over, you know, as a mascot, then she would be the most famous thing in the country if they wanted that. So now, you know, professional wrestling has come a lot to how the TV can use you or will use you. You know, I mean, I know that charisma and ability and everything else has a lot to do with it because the individual has to have something. But TV is part of the big push for sure.
Right. What are your thoughts on Bill Goldberg?
I really like the guy. I think that he's a nice, super nice guy. I get along with him well. I was actually in a movie with him with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He played the major heel in Universal Soldier 3 or 2.
I think it was 2.
Yeah. So, but I like him a lot. He's a gentleman. I think maybe he was pushed a little too early, you know, as regards to what he could do at the time. But he did get over, and you know, I mean, he was pushed, but he also had the charisma and the ability to carry that push. I like him.
Do you think they should have not let him do promos right away and kept him quiet?
Yeah, I think
they could have built him.
I really do. I think they should have put him with an experienced manager who, you know, maybe a Jimmy Hart or something, you know, and then Jimmy Hart was just Goldberg's manager and let him do the talking, and then Goldberg could have, you know, come in slowly.
Right.
But I think he's got a name now. He's never going to look back, and I think he'll be all right for the rest of his life.
Right. What about Kevin Nash? How was he? I hear a lot of stories about him, big ego, and
he's got a big ego, and you know, I mean, I never had anything against Kevin, but he was like a dick to me, and I have no, you know, it's like, why are you being a dick to me? I haven't done anything to you. You have no reason to be jealous of me. You know, I don't understand his attitude really, because I thought he was quite a nice guy, but then, you know, he's like that to a lot of people, I believe.
A lot of people say he fears guys getting over on him and they're big, you know, they're
right. I think that I think he's like a bitch.
Right. Do you think that you could definitely still draw big money for a company if they used you right?
Yeah, if they used me right, I could. Definitely. You know I could. We'd have to sit down and talk about it, and you know, adapt more to today's way of doing things, but still the basic formula works. I mean, it's like a movie, you know, in Clint Eastwood, you know, his family will get murdered and house burnt down, and then he spends something and his kid kidnapped, and then he spends the rest of the movie trying to find the kid and get revenge. I mean, it's the basic thing.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.